Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about some EDC items I'll be carrying for 2023. These items are only for this time period right now in the beginning of 2023, and they will be changing based on environment and duration and time as the seasons change. Now, I sometimes carry a little bit more than this or a little bit less depending on the scope of what I'm doing for the day. But generally speaking, I do carry at least one of these items on my persons or in my kits. Here in the table, we can see the variety of items that I have. I have my phone, I have my radios, some multi-tools, a light, and my VanQuest Dendrite small pouch, waist pouch. I use this as a waist pouch and or a sling bag in conjunction with some of these items that are on my persons. Now, I don't carry all these items on my persons at once. Sometimes I might combine a few of them together, but generally I don't do that. So let's start out with the radios here. I do have a Yaesu VX7R. This is a quad band ham radio. You need a license to transmit on this, but you don't need a license to listen and own one. So that's an important distinction. We also have a dual band antenna on here, a 2 meter, 70 centimeter antenna with a B and C connector, quick disconnect. And the reason why this is one of my primary EDC items that I carry on my persons is that it has 4 different types of bands it transmits on: 2 meters, 70 centimeters, 1.25 meters, and also 6 meters, all in FM. And the 6 meters I can do AM transmissions at 1 watt, which is important. This also has wideband reception as well. So you get AM, FM broadcast stations, shortwave stations on AM mode, and we also have scanning privileges and also coverage up to 999 megahertz basically with this, minus the cellular band, of course. Now, the other reason why I carry this is because it's fully waterproof, and I'm outdoors quite a lot, so this makes a lot of sense to carry on my persons as an EDC item. And plus, it's also very rugged, and by that I mean the case itself is worn out. I've owned this particular model for about at least 5+ years, I'd say. So I have several of these, and they do last and hold up pretty well, with the exception of a few things like the clip in the back tends to break the most on these, and every so often if you drop these really hard on the ground, you can knock off the knobs and you have to get replacement knobs. Other than that, they're very robust radios, they're waterproof, and they do last a very long time. Moving along to the Yaesu VX1R, the smaller brother. This is a late 1990s model, and the reason why I carry this is because it's a micro HT, so it's very lightweight and small, as you can see, and it does dual band, so it does 2 meters and 70 centimeters, basically VHF spectrum and UHF spectrum. And the nice thing about this is that it also has wideband coverage of AM and FM broadcast stations as well. So the alluring feature to me on this particular model is that this DC input port here on the radio, you can buy a DC to USB plug, and you can power and use this radio off of USB power, and also charge the battery if you turn the radio off. So it's quite a flexible modular system for travel and whatnot. And obviously on this one I have a different antenna with a quick disconnect system as well. So these are my two radios that I would carry on my persons, and they either function as a primary radio and a backup, or a primary radio, depending on what I want to do for the day. Moving along, I'll just go over this Angel Eyes E5U. I do still carry this despite the flaw in this design where the case cracks here in the front. These are not very well made, and they're not fully waterproof, but I still carry this as a water resistant option because it has several secondary LEDs here, white LEDs as you can see, and also a UV LED, which I do value in my day-to-day activities, inside a glow-in-the-dark case here. And we also have, in this particular model, we do have a SST20 emitter arrangement with high CRI 4000K temperature rated LEDs, which I particularly prefer in my lineup of lights, and also features a lockout mode 1, 2, 3, 4. And now this is locked out. The nice thing about this, the added bonus, is that it's USB-C rechargeable with the internal LiPo battery inside of it, and it also runs on a AAA battery, and it automatically switches over based on whichever one you're using that gets low. So that's kind of nice to have a backup powering option in your light. So once again, a good concept, poor execution, but I still carry it as an EDC light. Next up are some multi-tools that I have here, and we have the Leatherman Wave Plus. This was a recent acquisition, and I particularly like the Wave series. I have a Wave 2 I've used for almost probably 16 years or so, and I've had a PST longer than that, probably for almost 20 years. And so I'm no stranger to Leatherman multi-tools. Now these are plier-based multi-tools, and the reason why I carry this one is several different reasons, and I'll get into the pocket clip as the last reason. So first of all, you can access everything with one hand on the outside. It's liner locking. We have the straight blade here, and we also have our saw here, which is very useful in my case when I'm outdoors and I have to saw something. Everything on this tool locks, which is very nice, except for the pliers, obviously. And we have the serrated blade here, and we also have our file, three-sided file, diamond coated file, the bottom portion, and a crosshatch section. Let's open her up, and we also have needle nose pliers here, regular pliers in the center, 154 cm wire cutters here, a wire crimper in the back here if you face it just right. We have a ruler on the handles, and we have a bunch of different types of tools here. I'm not going to go over every single tool, but we have the scissors, the micro driver, and a slotted driver as well. And then we also have a bit exchanger for the proprietary bit system with a 2D Phillips head and also a slotted driver on the other side of that bit. And we also have our combo can opener, bottle cap lifter, and wire stripper there. And last but not least, the array of tools in here makes this a good EC option for me is the pocket clip, which I can fit inside the waistbands of my clothing, and I can carry this around when I happen to put it into the pocket. You can put it in the pocket like this as well. Works fairly well. But I tend to carry this in a different fashion. This allows me to carry this without having to have a belt or a pouch, which is very valuable in terms of being minimalistic. Next up is the Victorinox Signature, not Signature Light. This is the Cybertool Light. I do have a Signature Light, but we're going to get to that later. The Cybertool Light here is a nice 91mm platform multi-tool, and I like this because it has a light inside of it. People will say that's not a very powerful light. I'm not using this for a very powerful light. It's just a convenient light to use at night, and I can see in the dark with this. This is more than adequate for navigating in the dark up close. You can replace the batteries in here with this module. This is the latest light module on the Cybertool Light, the 3rd generation. That's what you want to get if you're looking to get a good light module, as it's about approximately 3 times brighter than the original light modules on the unit. Now, this also has a magnifying glass, which I find useful for looking at parts and things like that on a radio or electronics. This happens to be geared towards an electronics background, which is what I use for taking apart laptops and ham radios. The reason why I have this is not only because of the light, but because it has this internal bit set with different bits here that you can use to take apart electronics. Comes with a small plier head with a bunch of options in the bottom here, wire crimpers, and also a wire cutter there as well. A very, very tiny one for very small wires. And then we have the famous scissors, which is one of the primary reasons why I have this 91mm platform, is because this is so convenient to use and cut fibers and sewing threads with. It's very precise made scissors, so it's one of the best scissors made on a multi-tool. And then we have the typical pen blade knife here, as you can see. So standard Victorinox fare. And we have a smaller one, a backup one, and these are common on a lot of their 91mm platforms. And then finally on this side, another common thing that you might find is the bottle cap lifter and the slotted screwdriver. And we also have a wire bender here. And then finally we have our can opener, slotted screwdriver. And this also can fit in a Phillips head type screwdriver because it's angled too as well. And that is it for the main tool set on the back. On the front rather. On the back we do have our small corkscrew and a micro driver for glasses, and we have a pin in the scale here as well. And we also have our hook, and we also have our reamer, all with the sewing eyelet. And the scale tools, I've replaced the toothpick with a ferrule bar for striking, starting fires, and I also have a pen here in the plus scales, and on the side we have the tweezers. So fairly straightforward 91mm platform knife. A little bit thick, a little bit heavy for most uses, but I'll carry this on me. And sometimes I'll carry the Wave and this on me, so they have full coverage between scissors and plier-based tools. This has more of the medium or light duty tools. This has more of the finer, refined type of tools, like the plier heads, for example, will fit in places that the plier heads on the Wave won't fit into. So that's why I carry that on my persons. Next up is my basic phone. This is a Samsung Note 9 with the extended Zero Lemon 5000 milliamp hour battery attached to it, so this can prolong the life when I'm on the trails. And then finally we come up to the pouch that I'm using. This is a VanQuest Dendrite, and this is in their small model. This is the Dendrite class, and I wanted it in gray as it doesn't attract too much attention. So we have a nice, really comfortable webbing belt here with a quick release on the side, which makes this a fantastic EDC option as it's comfortable to carry. Doesn't cut into me. I can carry this as a sling bag or a waist pouch, which is two of the typical deployments that I'll do with the VanQuest Dendrite. On the outside, we have several different pockets. We have a main pocket here, one in the front and one in the back. The one in the back is very simple for me. I just keep a notepad in here to write stuff with. So that's what we have for the rear pouch or rear pocket. And these have YKK zippers, which are generally nice and smooth. Not all of them, but on this model, the zippers are very smooth, the action. On the outside of here, I have an old iNova coin cell battery operated red LED light. We can open this up and reveal my keys here. So I have my car keys. This is my Micro Leatherman Micra. I'm not going to go over all the tools on it, but it's a fantastic little small tool to have on your keys. I do have a Honda car key in the fob, and I have my house keys here. And then we also have my lighting element, which is the i1R2 EOS from Olight. Fairly older model, but a smaller pill light, smaller profile, and 2 modes and USB micro rechargeable, not USB-C unfortunately, but gets the job done, and I've been using it for almost 4 years now. So it's quite a handy little tool to have with your kit. Moving along to the main compartment here, we have several different items inside. I'll start with my wallet here, and I can also keep my phone inside of here, so I usually stuff it in there sometimes if I don't have a place to put my phone. So this is a nice big sizable bag when you need to stuff it full of stuff. But going back to this pouch here, this is the Roaring Fire Pico Fire EDC pouch. I've had this for over a year, and this was gifted to me by my family here, and I use this quite a lot as an experiment for a wallet for the past few months. I did a video on this back in, I think, November or October. I don't remember exactly when, but this has been working out as a fantastic experiment so far. Basically, I don't have to carry a separate pouch like this and my wallet. I've combined it into one. And over time, these particular models, the Roaring Fire Pico Fire models, the original ones, they tend to pack down a little bit, and it becomes a little bit flatter, not as thick as you initially have it when you pack it, which is quite nice. So on the outside pockets, we have 2 of them. We have one here, which houses my medical kit. It's a small little ouchie boo-boo kit. It's not a full IFAK or anything, but it's some plasters in there and things like that that I can use for an ouchie boo-boo situation, which I figured could come in handy. And on the back side, I have a reserve pocket full of cash here in a Ziploc bag. And finally, for the main compartment here, I do have my wallet section, which I'll go over. This is my card section, money. In here, I do have some hand sanitizer, a compass, some charging cables, various things that I could not fit in the webbing here or in the back pockets that run the entire gamut of the pouch. There's a back pocket here which houses a lot more stuff. We're not going to go over everything in the wallet here, but we do have a Refine P1 type of pen light here. This is a pen light combo, rechargeable micro USB pen light, much like the i1R2 EOS, except that I can replace the 10180 battery inside of it. This uses a Lamy M22 cartridge in the bolt action style pen here in the bottom port. This detaches so you can use it to write and light up what you're writing. Next to it, we have underneath the webbing, we have a small combo ferro rod and whistle in here, alongside a Leatherman Squirt P4, a plier-based multi-tool. micro multi-tool at that. And then once again, we have a lighter here that's not cord wrapped around the depressor, as I tend to use these for starting fires at my job and the fireplace, so I use them daily. And this is like a 49-cent lighter, so pretty inexpensive, but a good tool nonetheless. Behind it, we have an Olight pry bar wrapped in a cardboard duct tape type of sheath. And then next to it, we have a Phoenix LD02 AAA light. This particular light has a UV mode on it, which you probably can't see in the camera. But then we also have a regular white light on it as well. So that's what we're using for a primary replaceable tool light, in addition to the refined P1. And then we also have the Signature Light secondary tool here. This is Victorinox Signature Light. Has a small temporary coin cell operated light here, which we can place the battery on, white light. And we also have scissors with this particular one, as I like to carry scissors on me because I use that fairly often for a lot of my EDC tasks. I'm not going to go over everything else in the pouch, but this is my wallet, and it's been working fairly well as of late. Sometimes what I'll do, I'll just carry this, my keys and my phone, and that'll be enough for me for the day, which is, in my opinion, minimalistic compared to how I carry my items. But there you go, that's my wallet there. Moving along, we do have a battery bank in this here. This is the Max Charge. It's rated for 5,000 milliamp hours, but it's a little bit less. It's more like 4,000 milliamp hours. It's very flat, as you can tell, very small, which is why I like it. And it only costs about $8, which is incredibly economic to use. And it features 2 input ports and an output port, and 2 output ports, so in and out, and an input port for the charging port portion of it as well. So it can function as a dual function type of charging bank. But we have a USB-A section here, which is what we care about. It takes USB-C or micro USB as well. I have my bandana, which I've had for many years. And finally, I do have my Victorinox Huntsman light. Similar to the Cybertool light, these two models are different in weight and tool options and light modules. This has the older one, and this has the newer one. So the Huntsman light with the older light module I carry in here sometimes when I don't carry my Cybertool light, but I still want a good pair of scissors. And the basic other difference in this one compared to the Cybertool light is the Phillips head is a 3D one, but it's not an interchangeable bit. And we also have the namesake of the Huntsman is a saw. Everything else is pretty much the same on this. The knives, the outside scale tools are also on this one. I did replace this one with the fire starter one, as this one is more focused for outdoor use as well. We do have a smaller slotted screwdriver in the back here, unlike the Cybertool light, but that's because that has a bit set in it and this one doesn't. But we have the hook, we have the reamer, we have our corkscrew and our micro driver and our pin inside the scale here too as well. So very useful multi-tool, and that's why I carry it in here. It's very simplistic and basic for my needs. And this is the inside of the VanQuest pouch. In this little pocket here, I carry a small USB charging cable for the electronics, like this, for example. So that's in this pocket here. So a very nice organizational method of carrying your items, this Dendrite Small, and it works perfectly for my needs. So that is my entire 2023 EDC pouch and pocket dump, if you will, what I'm carrying right now. Let me know what you guys think and what kind of stuff you're carrying as well. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your day.